A decade ago, the thought of comparing an entry-level Acura sedan to a Mercedes-Benz product, honestly, it just wouldn't have made sense.
But fast forward by about 10 years and we've got a real dogfight on our hands. Stick around to see why.
See, here's the thing. Back in 2004, which was the first model year for the TSX, Acura was selling front-wheel drive products with fantastic transmissions and high-revving Honda VTEC engines. And as much fun as they were, there was no masking the fact that there was still an appreciable gap between anything you'd get from Acura and luxury cars from Germany. I mean, we're talking rear-wheel drive, smoothly accelerating, power-rich engines, and for some strange reason, a telephone number pad. That part I still haven't figured out. Of course, the big one in there is rear-wheel drive, because up until 2014, every Mercedes-Benz product that you could buy in the United States powered the rear axle first, and then the front axle in 4MATIC models. Of course, that changed when this thing arrived, the CLA, because it's based on Mercedes-Benz MFA front-wheel drive architecture. It uses a transverse-mounted engine, of course a 2-liter turbo unit, and like I said, that powers the front wheels. Now, a year prior to all of that, Acura launched the ILX, and quite frankly, it was a stinker. I say was because for 2015, Acura is dropping both of its transmissions and the smaller engine in favor of offering a single powertrain in the ILX. Of course, that's the 2.4-liter engine mated to an 8-speed dual-clutch transmission with a torque converter for smoother shifts at low speeds. Suddenly, the entry-level sedans from Mercedes-Benz and Acura have some striking similarities.
You can see just how different these cars are to drive by looking under the hood. While they offer roughly the same horsepower, it's the CLA's 2-liter turbocharged engine that ends up making a ton more torque and makes the car more engaging and fun to drive. But we found the 2.4-liter 4-cylinder engine in the ILX to actually be more fuel efficient. In our testing, we found it got 29.4 miles per gallon compared to the CLA's 27 miles per gallon. But the Mercedes transmission isn't without its quirks. This 7-speed dual clutch does fire off upshifts really nicely, but starting from a stop, it is a little unrefined. On the other hand, the ILX's 8-speed dual clutch transmission is really smooth from the start, but that's because it has a torque converter to help it out. Furthermore, when you throw the gear stick into the sport mode, the ILX fires off these quick downshifts the moment you lift off the throttle or apply the brakes. Unfortunately, that's the only bit of sporty DNA to be found in the Acura. In every other application, the CLA has it beat. The steering of the CLA is direct and well balanced, and it responds really nicely to quick changes. In comparison, the ILX has light steering and a softer suspension setup, making it a little less fun to drive. Of course, it helps that the CLA is equipped with the optional Sport Plus package, which gives it tighter steering, stiffer suspension, and a louder exhaust. Finally, the ILX is only available with front-wheel drive. On the other hand, the CLA is available with all-wheel drive, a $2,000 option that really matches up nicely to the car's turbocharged, torque-filled engine.
The CLA offers a much more stylish interior with a more decorative design that has sport seats that do a much better job of hugging both the driver and the front passenger, not to mention nice touches like ambient lighting, along with a thick-rimmed, flat-bottom steering wheel that gives this car a little bit of a sportier feel. But like so many other stylish things, the CLA 250 really doesn't have very much space to move around inside of, and I gotta tell you, the rear seats are practically useless. I can't even sit up straight in them, and that says a lot because I'm the shortest guy on the AutoGuide staff by a wide margin. For some perspective, both of these cars are actually about the same length and slightly wider than the W204 Mercedes-Benz C-Class. The ILX isn't as stylish as the CLA, but by ignoring the frankly silly trend for 4-door coupes, it has a serious leg up in interior volume. The seats don't hug you as tightly, it's true, but the cloth inserts that it has do a great job of keeping you from sliding around in the middle of a corner. Speaking of materials, that's another area where Mercedes-Benz has Acura pinned. There's nothing wrong with the ILX at all, but the buttons, dials, and gauges in the Mercedes-Benz all feel more premium than the Acura. At the same time, it's disappointingly hard to get past the fact that the CLA still feels like a down-market Mercedes product. Finally, trunk space is pretty much a dead tie between both of these cars, but I've got to give the edge to Mercedes-Benz. It offers a 60/40 rear split in the back and a pass-through window, both of which are features that are disappointingly absent from the ILX.
If you're after value, the ILX simply can't be beat. It starts under 30 grand and tops out at $35,810. On the other hand, the CLA starts at around $34,000, which isn't even far off from the topped-out Acura price. This fully loaded ILX comes with really cool tech features and driver assist for a low price. That includes adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, and forward collision warning. Considering you can get all of that for under $36,000, and the Acura ILX is a perfect choice if features is what you're after. To put it in perspective, if you wanted to get those features in the CLA, it will end up costing over $10,000 more than the ILX. And even though it'll cost you, the CLA does offer some exclusive features like a panoramic sunroof and that performance package, which makes the car so much fun to drive. The refreshed ILX is a massive improvement over earlier models. It looks great and feels more premium to drive, and that ends up elevating the Acura brand as a whole.
Meanwhile, the CLA 250 feels more like a step down for Mercedes-Benz. The CLA 250 is more car by every measure than the ILX, including price, and were it our money, we wouldn't be ready to go that far over the top.